Who wants to say what's up? Who wants to talk first?
Well, you're already canonically talking first because the mics are live.
Oh, okay. Well, very well then.
So I should say, real quick, before we get started, I want to remind everyone that this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Ahigo Comics and Miyaruru.
That's right. You're gonna have to say it every single time now.
I'm glad you held that in until I stopped. Hey, if you like what we do and want to support us, consider backing us on Patreon. You can access to episodes early. You can get this in audio format downloadable early, and lots of other stuff, and it would really help us out. Thanks for your support, guys.
Thank you.
So I think you started this by asking me what's up, technically. You weren't aiming it at me, but you did say it. And I do want to start, so I will say what's up is... What's immediately up right now is that I'm sick. A little bit. I have a slight fever. Nobody get real concerned. It's not super bad. It's just... So, I have some thoughts on sickness. For me, I think the worst part of being sick is almost always the fever. And actually, I know for sure that this episode is going to be titled Fever Dreams. Because I feel like I want to keep the, like, philosophical or like, deep-thinking sounding names. So, the last one was Lake of Consciousness. This one's going to be Fever Dreams.
Wasn't Lake of Consciousness when I was talking about how I had to stop my stream of consciousness, and if I damned it, it'd become a lake?
Yes. I got that from you, but I thought it fit perfectly that we rambled on for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But yeah, no, so for me, the worst part is always the fever for two reasons. Mm-hmm. One, it's just, that's the feeling that makes you feel like you gotta fall over. You feel fine, you're laying down, you stand up for like 5 minutes, and you're like, oh god, I want to die. You know, you start to feel immediately tired and lightheaded. Don't worry, guys, I took something before this, and it said it's good for 4 hours, so the show will not last that long, I hope. That's another complaint I have, though. We'll cycle back to that. But also, literally, the fever dreams. I hope everybody listening has experienced the delirium of a fever in the middle of the night, because I don't know if there's like a solid scientific explanation for that, but for me, always... sickness, especially fevers and stuff, always is worse in the evening. I don't know why. It just is. But fever dreams and delirium are real, and they are the most interesting / sucky part of being sick, because you're just trying to mind your own business and rest. And you're having your weird delirium episodes. But yeah, so that's why this episode is going to be titled Fever Dreams. So about medication, I realized this while I was looking in the cabinet, trying to see if we had anything. So no, I'm not on anything serious right now. It's just daytime relief. But all of it, whether it's capsules or like a liquid you drink or like a thing you turn into a tea, it's all like 4 hours. And I'm like, can't you give me anything more functional? You're like, so it only lasts, you take every 4 hours, and then you can only take 12 hours worth of stuff in a day. So, all right, what am I supposed to do for the rest of my day? 4 hours is not a great time slot when you can only take so much, otherwise your liver explodes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about it is you're basically putting extra stuff into your body. Your body can only handle so much.
Yeah, I know that's true. And the kicker is it's always the pain reliever. Like I don't remember what acetaminophen is in, but there are a lot of those NSAIDs. You've seen them, you know, the stuff that goes in Tylenol, Aleve, all that. Those are always like, hey, be very careful not to take more than X in 24 hours. Because you will die horribly. Your liver will explode.
Yeah, it's like these things like were basically made to like do temporary relief and bolster your immune system. Because basically most medications are doing is they're not actually like technically fighting off the whatever it is. They're basically assisting your body. Yeah, your body's doing that. It's just assisting that. Well, that's because
especially with cold and flu, those are both viral. Which we do have antivirals, but that's like a whole thing. Doing antivirals, there's no like, not like antibacterials, which I had to take antibiotics when I had my tooth extracted, and they were like, take your antibiotics every so many hours on the hour with food, even if you don't get sick or anything, don't stop taking your antibiotics until they're all gone.
Yeah,
like that's all. It's a whole thing. A course of antibiotics is a big deal, but there's none of that for virals. So the only thing that can really stop it is just to let your body fight it out. The only problem is your body is extremely overzealous.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why high fevers are dangerous, because you will literally cook yourself.
Yeah, the body doesn't know how to control itself. I think that's actually kind of in part because we become so reliant on medication nowadays.
Some of it, I think also think some of it's just your body is not actually a finely tuned machine. People like to say it is, and there's a lot of elegance in the human body, but a lot of it's just throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks. So fevers are like that. It's just turning up the heat. And actually, I know why this is. I learned this in biology in college, but so you know how eggs, when you crack open an egg, it's all runny, but then you cook it and it turns into a solid thing?
Coagulates?
Yeah, that's because of the heat, because that warps the proteins in the egg. Because an egg is full of proteins. It alters their shape, because proteins are very particular. So when you cook them, they completely break down their shape and they change into something else, basically. And if your body temperature goes too high, you do that to your own proteins, and that's how a high fever can kill you. So you sometimes need to regulate that, at least in our modern medicine, you sometimes need to regulate your fevers. I don't think I'm that bad. It's just, also that's why your brain stops working, because, hey, your body is meant to operate at one temperature. The fever thing is like an emergency response to shit, something is wrong.
Also, this is actually a big problem with a lot of people, is a lot of people don't hydrate properly.
That's also always important. And I do hydrate properly, because I get terrible dehydration headaches if I don't. So I drink.
Yeah, but here's the thing: it's like whether your body has enough water or not, it's going into fever mode. So that's why they always tell you to hydrate.
Yes,
drink.
Always hydrate.
Drink lots
luckily,
of water.
I live somewhere hot and have for years, so hydrating is just something I do normally during my day, because it's like 90 degrees outside. And it's only like 80 degrees inside, even if the air is going full blast, because there is only so much technology can do in the face of a Florida summer.
Yeah.
So, everybody always hydrate. That's especially true. This is something I heard last week, that there's apparently like a record heat wave in Japan.
Oh my goodness. I'm so worried for Nari-senpai.
And several, we know a couple of people who are in Japan, and it's real bad there. Record-setting stuff. Also, I remember
there's actually
a couple weeks ago there was a record heat wave in LA for AX.
Mm-hmm. Like this weekend here in the Pacific Northwest, we're gonna be hitting the 90s, which ain't a record, but we're just starting the midpoint of summer where it's gonna be the hottest.
Like I don't think Florida has had any record-setting heat necessarily. Occasionally we have record-setting dry spells, because it's just fucking hot down here all the time. It's not like that but I mean, we joked last time, no religion, no politics. You can argue about the nature of global warming, but shit's hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that a fact.
I'll tell you right now, it wasn't this hot a decade ago.
Yeah. Like I said, we can fight about the hows and the whys, but it's fucking hot right now. So we should watch the fuck out. I think that's all I have right away on my sickness, though. My personal global warming.
Yeah, global warming, but they have said that the ozone hole over the Antarctic is getting smaller. That's good. We finally stopped using the things that were breaking it up. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, that was a huge deal in school. Yeah, which since I was homeschooled for a lot of years says apparently it's not how long that it was not closed up all the way, but it is smaller, and that's progress. That's good. We stopped using the thing that breaks up the ozone layer. Yeah, because ozone is important, guys. It stops the sun from melting us. Because let's be real. But yeah, so it's been hot. The sun's bad news. Super hot. Like I said, I live in the Pacific. As I said, I live in the Pacific Northwest. We usually have like 20. I would say 15 years ago, we had pretty mild summers. Like they got highs. The highs were in the 80s. Like now here we are. It's all like seeing a day where we break out into the hundreds. It's not common, but it's not rare anymore. Right. You don't look at that 100-degree possibility and go, oh god, that's never happened before in my life. It's like, oh god, it's one of these days again. Yeah. So how it is here in Florida. And like I said, we're a state by the water, so when it gets heat, it gets humid, things get sticky. Humidity. And unfortunately, us Pacific Northwest Washingtonians, I'm in Washington, I just ruined that, whatever. We're not real good with the heat. We're really not. We're all fucking trees and rivers and lakes. Like, sun comes out, we don't know what to do. We literally have overcast skies 90% of the time. That is our standard operating procedure. Summer comes out and we're just like yeah. Meanwhile, I've been a Florida boy all my adult life, most of my life period. Now that I think about it, because I think I moved to Florida around the turn of the millennium, so that's obviously 18 years ago.
So me, like, I mean, let's be real. People can be like, I love the heat. I love the heat. No, you don't. It fucking sucks. But I'm used to it by now. I can like go outside
here's the
and
thing.
be like,
before I moved up here to the Pacific Northwest, I lived in Texas. You know,
here's
that's
the thing. You get conditioned.
That's
I don't mind saying this because I haven't lived there for years, and it's like I'm not giving out like other stuff. But I was born in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Go Packers. I didn't live there very long, but I was born in the North. I'm a Northern boy. I'm a real Yankee. I hate the fucking cold. I can't stand it. It kills me. Like I admit that I prefer being a little chilly and able to bundle up to it being too fucking hot, but the cold slays me. If it's cold and windy,
honestly,
you're like you go outside and you're like, fuck, I can't get warm. That sucks. Snow, it's pretty. I can live without it. Because I have relatives in the north, and I visited them in the wintry months. Having to wear 2 pairs of socks sucks.
You see, that's like just par for the course. Like if I know if I'm gonna be spending like several hours outside, yeah, I put on 2. It's normal. You just got to get the right pair of socks, or you got to get 1 pair of really fluffy socks.
Yeah, no, but see, that's what I say. You get conditioned. You've lived in a place that gets cold in winter long enough where you're like, all right, I have to go outside. I prepare for this. It's the same for me with heat. It's like, okay, I'm going to go outside.
Yeah,
it's 90 degrees.
So I want a hat, sunglasses. I used to live in Texas. It used to be really hot there. Now that I've spent and probably when I first moved here, I don't remember because my memory, as everyone knows, my memory is shit. But when I first moved up here, I probably couldn't stand it. I was like, why is everything so cold all the time? But now that I've lived here for so long, I'm all like, oh my God, do not put me underneath the sun. I'm spontaneously
like that. I think I'm always like that. I'm always I don't know where I went wrong in my life, but where I think it's because I was born that way. I have naturally sensitive skin, not in like ooh, he's so sensitive, in the no, I'm pale as fuck and I burn really easy, and I always have. I also I think bruise a little easily, and going outside, I like bare feet normally. For a long time as a kid, I hated bare feet on grass because grass was just so itchy to me. Like that kind of sensitive skin, easily irritated and damaged skin. So that's probably why I hate the sun, because I always have to layer the fuck up in sunscreen. Otherwise, you get horrible sunburns, which is an entirely different kind of not fun.
You see, I'm lucky. I have black genes in me, so I have just enough that where I don't burn, I just tan naturally.
Yes.
Every year,
I used to be pretty tan, but that's from years of reasonable sun exposure, which is long gone for me. Now I'm super pale. I'm a ghost. I'm truly northern. Hey, funny how that works. The genetics of the peoples from the equatorial regions are sunburn, whatever. Mm-hmm. Me with my fucking Anglo-ass genetics is oh God, the sun. I'm dying. My skin is literally melting off me.
It's I guess it's also because I'm used to, because as much as I love my nerdy hobbies and stuff, when I work, I have to do physical labor. Otherwise, I just don't feel right. Because for me, sitting down in front of a screen is playtime. Is when I go do whatever the fuck I want. So I can't do that for work.
Well, that's just
if I'm working, I'm usually up and about outside working. I've worked on farms, fields, raised cattle.
Hey, Lucky.
Actually, this was an interesting thing I wanted to mention earlier, because remember how last week we were talking about our differences in views and whatnot? Mm-hmm. I was actually kind of starting to wondering about that. One of the things I think that I probably have you trumped on is wealth of experiences.
Well, probably you are also older than me, so that's not surprising. But you have. I think you've done more with varied stuff in your adult life than I have.
Yeah,
for sure.
But
I don't really talk about it a lot, but I have a fairly broad experience in my life, but it's in certain ways. Before we settled down in Florida somewhat, my family moved around a lot, so I lived in Guam for a couple years. I was born in Green Bay. I lived in other places, north and south, all kinds of places. So I've experienced a lot of different climates and different life. In the 90s Disney Channel original movie, a version of my life, I am that kid, the kid who always moves away at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the real treasure was the friends you made along the way, or something stupid like that. That's me.
Well, I was the same way. I was born in my mom was in the military. She was actually stationed in Guam. I've never been there though. But I was born in Mississippi, moved to Michigan, moved down to Texas, and then I started flying all over the place. I flew over to California. I flew over to Michigan. There was a road trip down from Michigan down to Alabama. Then we moved up here to Washington. From Washington, I completed my life. I had many misadventures because, well, let's just not say I didn't have the happiest home. Basically, like, ran away from home, joined the military, got sent over to Illinois, got stationed in Virginia, did a deployment. So I went all over the Mediterranean, came back, got kicked out of the military, hitchhiked from Virginia up to New York, was able to score a plane ticket back to Washington, became homeless again, made a bunch of questionable decisions, and finally got a break, and met this fucker that I'm talking to.
Hi, that's me. Yeah, ironically, my last couple of years have been more stable than my early life, but still, lots of dumb stuff. It's interesting that you say you flew around a lot. What was your family a tripping family or
nope.
a traveling family? Yeah, see,
nope.
Mine was. Regularly, we would make road trips because even before 9/11 and airplane travel got fucking annoying, I'm pretty sure my parents hated travel. Also, I've said this before, my mother's English. She still has her UK passport. She moved over here to the States in, like, her high school years. So you can't tell, like, right off the bat, but there's a lot of behavioral stuff that carries over. But I think that was about the time she acquired a distaste for the ocean. She does not have sea legs because she traveled over to the U.S. via boat. So, yeah, that's fun. Which I seem to have inherited.
As a person who has sailed the Atlantic seas, I completely understand why.
So boats is not a thing we do as a family. Well, my dad likes to boat, and when we lived on the coast, he had a boat, which I would go out on, but I also learned to hate and fear the ocean. God, I don't like the ocean. But no, we road tripped a lot, so I've picked up a distaste for travel because, let's be real, travel sucks. Like, when you get to a new place and you can, like, actually, like, explore and see stuff, that's great. All that other shit in between, that sucks. Planes suck. Cars suck. Trains are okay. Driving. Subways, I have a deep distrust of being underground, but that's just me. So,
like, I'm pretty sure, like, when I'm finally convinced, when we finally have the finances and whatever to get Omega up here, because I'm making him come up here. I ain't going down there. I will, like, shoot the fucking sun.
That's fair. I wouldn't want you to come here. I don't necessarily. Also, I don't live in a place where you could be. I'd have to move somewhere else in Florida, and then you'd have to move here. That would be dumb.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna try and get him to come by plane or train. Shoot, if it goes by train, I might go down to meet him. I don't know, make an event out of it.
That would probably depend on how much shit I decide I need to move.
Huh?
That would probably depend on how much shit I decide I need to move, because you have to travel light on a plane.
Yeah, that's true. We're also shipping companies, but as I said, that's when we start making our well, I can't say YouTube millions, but YouTube thousands.
Yeah, something like that. Enough to make living expenses so I can move and we can actually get in the same point, and we don't have to worry about Discord doing weird stuff to us all the time. That'd be great. Discord's better than Skype, though. God, Skype.
Oh my!
The Skype.
I remember
days.
I had to scream at people like, switch to Discord. We're like, no, Skype. I'm all like, abandon Skype.
No, I as soon as I realized it was a thing and it worked on multiple levels, I was happy to ditch Skype. Sorry, I accidentally touched my microphone cable, so it made a funny noise there.
Oh, it's so
By the way,
sensitive.
audience, if you're curious as to why if there's any kind of audio problems with this, like if there's a little bit of background noise left over or it's weird or whatever, just remember I'm sick, so I'm not gonna put my full effort into, like, hunting down every little audio problem.
I told this guy it'd be okay if we waited, but he's like, no, we're gonna record. We gotta get out content.
Well, we only have a little bit of backlog for next week, so that's the problem. Because guess what? A lot of my stories when we talk about stuff that we did this week is going to be, I didn't do anything this week because I was sick from, like, Tuesday. So,
I'm trying to play more Dead Space.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just haven't been feeling it. I haven't been feeling it.
That's fine.
Well, oh, wait. No, I know why I haven't been feeling it. It's because there's an FGO event going on right now and a Girls Frontline event going on at the same time. And I'm all like, it's like, oh my God, games take up so much time.
They do. We're doing that a lot. But we'll talk about more of that in Let's Talk FGO, which will be sometime this
week.
We'll
actually sometime. We can
talk about Girls Frontline a little and how Operation Cube is kind of a little bullshit.
it is a little bullshit, especially for those who don't have night teams prepared or like several echelons. Prepared.
Several night echelons. Night shit is hard. That's probably why this is like a challenge type event, because it's at night, so you got to worry about accuracy and all that dog shit. But whatever, it's a thing. You got a long time to do it.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm more sad that I spent a lot of tokens and did not get NTW's summer costume. That hurts me. And they're gonna rotate out to something else soon, which I will not get any fucking costumes in.
Yeah. I don't know like what the original release schedule was for Girls Frontline, like over in Chinaland. But they seem to be going real quick here.
Yeah, the global schedule is at a quick pace. Like every single time, there's no dead week at all, which is probably normal for these type games. It's like, okay, here's a new costume gotcha, or here's a new event, whether or not it's an actual like map event like Operation Cube, or it's like just a do stuff event. Which, on the one hand, do stuff events are good because you can naturally do them, but on the other hand, it's really distracting sometimes because it's like, okay, now I have to focus on something that's not knocking out more story chapters. Maybe their thought people would be like Camper and some of the other people we know who like completely obliterated story chapters, must have spent money or something to get resources, and like completely blitz through and have all their fucking max level T-dolls.
I think they focus fired on like one echelon, got a max, like, all right, I'm gonna go destroy everything with this. Because like I've been playing like pretty regularly. I'm just now getting my main echelon into the 90s.
Yeah, I'm not that good. People I have a couple 60-ish echelons. That's my best.
Yeah. And I've seen people who had like level hundreds within like the first month of play. I'm all like, what are you people doing?
Nothing but this.
I don't know.
So I'm doing that a lot.
I'm still enjoying.
You're still enjoying Dead Space, I assume is where you're going with that? Or was it, you're enjoying
I'm still enjoying Dead Space. Like I said, Dead Space is a game that, like, did I talk about Dead Space on this? It's not a game that it's not horror survival. I don't consider it really horror survival.
I think you said this a couple times on the show.
And
also in the actual Dead Space.
I don't remember the shit I say. I really don't.
I know.
But
that's fine. I don't think anybody will mind if you reiterate.
Yeah, I'll reiterate. It's horror action. It's you in a spooky setting with spooky monsters, and you get to kill them all. It gives you more agency than an actual horror survival game. In horror survival games, you're often made to feel more powerless, which is all right if it's done right. But if they take away all your agency, it just pisses me off to no end.
Like, I can't
those games
play the Aliens game because it stresses me out too much. Like that is something we will have to do. Like if I move up there, so we can be like on a couch and switch off every once in a while, because I need the ability to take like a micro break in there, because it just stresses me out too much. But that, I think, is a good game that handles that agency well, because you get a lot of tools, you get a lot of options to like move in and out of stuff. Yeah, the actual alien is basically impossible to kill except in certain circumstances, but the game has adversaries you can overcome, and it has a lot of tools you can use to survive, so you don't feel useless all the time. But just I get too stressed thinking about Johnny Xenomorph's right around the corner. He's going to get me.
Yeah. And it's like, that's why I can't play. Like, I've tried to play games like Outlast, Amnesia, and I'm like, if my only two options are run and hide, when I just ran past a perfectly throwable chair, I'm going to get upset.
Yes. The classic limitation of horror game engines. No, we need you to be spooked. You can't throw a chair under a door, or hit somebody with a chair, or use objects in your environment at all. You can't, like, throw that dumb lantern you have at somebody and set them on fire. Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to give me every single freaking option, but, tools, abilities, like...
The ability to react like a human would be nice. You see, like, I get that that's part of the genre conventions, but at the same time, like, as a form of entertainment, we had this discussion a lot when we were talking about Neurofest for upcoming for FGO, which, by the way, that's going to be real fun, Lucky. But we'll talk about that in specifics. But I talked about how my philosophy of a lot of games is, like, if the game's just going to punch me in the dick, I want the ability to punch the game back, basically. If you're just going to be mean and arbitrary and restrictive to me, like, you're just going to, like, shackle my hands and to be like, no, fuck you, you deal with it. Yeah, no, like, that kind of happens in real life, but hey, guess what? You can still do stuff about that. So, as, like, an entertainment media, if you can't use the systems the game has, that's just shitty to me. That's just fake difficulty bullshit.
Yeah. And said, like, honestly, games like Outlast and Amnesia are nothing just they're running simulators. That's all they are.
This actually ropes into another topic. I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm doing for Let's Plays, but I can come back to that. But this reminds me of something, talking about, like, game difficulty. Was it yesterday or was it the day before? We went on a little nostalgia trip, because Camper mentioned...
Oh, yeah, the Mega Man X
Legacy Collection?
Yeah, I want to get that. It only has the first 4 games. I was actually kind of surprised.
Oh, wow, it only has? That's weird, because I have the PS2 version of that, and that has through X6.
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure... Let me see here. Mega Man X Legacy Collection.
I went on a bit of a nostalgia trip through, like, some soundtracks. God, those are... a lot of those are really good. So that reminded me, because, like, those games are hard. Like, but they are a real kind of hard. They are like you need to hone your skill at sliding and jumping and other stuff to, like, and memorize patterns and, like, stuff like that. It's hard, and it's that a lot of those, especially the early games, are the classic, what they call Nintendo hard, where, yeah, just the game system cannot handle being super nuanced, so you have to sometimes get, like, pixel perfect timing. But that's still a skill you can develop. You can still practice that shit. And yeah, no, when you talk about hard games that are good, that's like, yeah, no. Because I don't have a great track record with Mega Man games.
Oh, okay, I see it. It's the Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1+2.
Oh, okay. It's interesting, though, that, because, like, so, I think we said this in the actual Discord, but we can talk about it here, since we're talking about Mega Man. My first experience was with X, because the kid next door had X for the SNES.
Oh, man, X was my first Mega Man game. It really was.
It was for me, too. But also then, he was the guy who had a PS1. So, we moved up to Mega Man 8 and X4. So I have a lot of pleasant memories of those games. Like, that was the classic, okay, I'm dead now you switch kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm. I remember those days.
Lots of game.
That's how you played single-player games back in the day.
Lots of gameplay like that. So I have lots of memory about that. And then, when we get to the PS2 era, I have, in their boxes, the actual PS2 Mega Man Legacy Collection and Mega Man X Legacy Collection, which had the everything. Like, for Mega Man, it's literally 1 through 8. Which, by the way, like I said, I don't have a great track record with, because those games are hard.
Well, as I said, back in the day, like, that's how a game survived, is how hard it was, because the harder it was, the longer it took you to beat, the more
longevity
time you got out of it. The more, you get your money's worth out of it.
But no, that gave me a lot of experience, and that kept me in. And then, like we said, we moved to the handheld generation, ZX and ZX Advent. Love those games. Those I actually have beaten.
I don't remember if I've beaten them. That's the thing. Like I haven't beaten X. Like, honestly, I've gotten to the spider boss in the final level.
I've
never got past
the way those
it.
games are set up, everybody can say you've beaten all the bosses, but then when you get to the boss stages, those are always fucking hard. Like Sigma or Wily stages.
I've beaten all the bosses.
Everybody can beat Robot Masters or Mavericks, but then it's like the final exam shit.
So I bought my Mega Man X used, because back in those days you could actually go down to your mall and they would have used SNES games for reasonable fucking prices.
I got a couple SNES games that way. That's how I got it was a couple years after the SNES era, but I managed to pick up an original copy of A Link to the Past that way.
That's classic.
Yeah, I don't actually own Mega Man, but I own the Mario classics. I have Super Mario World, Super Mario All-Stars, which is all the NES games with like a 16-bit, the original remaster in HD. And I have Link to the Past. So I have some fucking I have F-Zero as well. I have some fucking classic Nintendo on an SNES that still works last time I checked.
I'm so upset. Like, I've had so many game consoles. Actually, I'll get to this in a second. But when I got Mega Man X, they still had the instruction manual for it. And whoever had owned it previously had actually written their codes in the back of it. So basically, I put in one of the codes, and the guy had literally already unlocked everything, was already set to go fight the final boss. I was all like, fuck yeah! I didn't actually say fuck. I was like 7 at the time. I didn't know that word.
Frick yes! Grandma Candy.
But, I dicked around with that, but then I realized I had no idea what the heck I was doing, so of course I had to start from the beginning and learn my way up. You just can't give...
Yeah.
I think actually that's something that's probably like one of, I want to say like a problem, because it's just so widespread, but definitely a signifier of today's gaming is a lot of the times they'll just give you what you need. It's like, here, Now have some like convenient highlight marks to show where to use it, and go.
Yeah, the way games have transitioned, I feel like a lot of game designers always intended that, because like if you go back, like, and you actually play some of those, they will teach you, and sometimes in subtle ways and sometimes in not so subtle ways. Like, talk about Link to the Past, like when you get an item, they almost always tell you a thing you can do, and then you're like, oh, I bet this is the thing I need to do the thing in this dungeon.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like game designers on some level have always intended that. But yeah, that's definitely a usability thing that has come as the game market gets more saturated, right?
Yeah.
So you have to tell people, you have to get people invested in your game quicker, because otherwise they're just going to put it down and play something else.
Yeah, like classic example. In any like action adventure games where you have to jump and climb, ledges are always marked with like a yellow bar, scuff marks, something that makes it stand out. So you go, oh, I can jump there.
Right. That's a thing I can climb, because I can't climb everything.
Yeah.
And then
like,
Breath of the Wild came out and they killed that.
Yeah, and they did. It's like, no, you can just fucking climb everything. We don't give a fuck. Do you have stamina for it? Go for it. Man. I just beat that game like a month ago. I've had it for like 6 months.
Well, it's a game that you can't, that's Nintendo's ultimate triumph in like open gaming, because you can actually, if you're really good, you can beat it in like 5 minutes or whatever, one of those types of things. Or you can take your time and actually do everything and beat it for like an hour.
I think that is the true meaning of open world. If you can go and fight as soon as you wake up, go fight the final boss.
Yeah, no, that's like real open world.
That's open world. That's all. Like, if you can go wander someplace that's going to get you killed, but you can go there anyway, that's open world. Because that's something I like in seeing in gaming, when you don't restrict your areas based on your level/equipment. Yeah.
Well, you do, but you don't. Because, right, like, if you're playing, like, Fallout, and you go to the place where the Deathclaws are, as a little baby level 1 character, you're going to get your fucking ass kicked. But you can still go there and poke your nose in and go, oh, I need to find a bigger gun.
Yeah.
And one of the beauties about at least the more modern Fallout titles is, while obviously having a better gun skill helps, if you can just find access to that shit in the world, you can still do the stuff you need. It's just the game tends to soft gate it through like economics or whatever. Because hey, guess what? A fucking huge sniper rifle is probably wildly expensive in this post-apocalyptic environment, as opposed to some piece of shit thing some asshole made with a pipe and duct tape.
See, that's why you just gotta know where the unique sniper rifle was. It in New Vegas? The Ranger? No, it wasn't the Ranger. No, maybe that was 3. I can't.
No,
remember.
the unique sniper rifle is a huge pain in the ass, because it's in a locked box that's like very hard 100% to open. You can get the unique marksman carbine though pretty easy, because that's in Vault 40 something. The one filled with ghouls and radiation. That's just a puzzle solver.
No, there was another one. I swear that like is like just laying on the ground and like not on the ground, but like leaning against a like sniper's nest. It's like at the desert camo sniper. Right?
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be in a box. But if it's just lying out there, then yeah, that's real convenient.
Actually,
I know the one you're thinking of. That's the unique sniper rifle. It's really good. You have to like cross a lot of fuck ton of land. The Rat Slayer is also similarly. You just go into a cave and find it on a table. You have to fight some giant rats though.
Sniper rifle.
But yeah, no, the uniques you can just find in Fallout are way better than the ones you have to fucking buy. That's really annoying.
Oh wait, is this it?
I'm so glad you can steal that gun rather than pay shitload of money for it. But that guy sells like, is it the unique hunting rifle he sells, or is it the unique trail carbine?
Okay, I found it. It's the Gobi Campaign Scout Rifle. It has a desert camo on it, and it's in it is in a very hard box, but it is in a sniper's nest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You didn't play the DLC, but in Honest Hearts, they have a 12.7 millimeter version of the service rifle.
Oh wow.
Which is based on like the actual 50 caliber Beowulf thing, like the checkpoint rifle basically, so it can penetrate vehicle glass and stuff. And that's just in a bag next to a dead guy. And in the mountains and hills, and that's a great fucking find, because The ammo capacity is a little low, but fuck, man, 12.7 is that's an end game caliber for that game, and it should be, because those bullets are huge, and they stop people real good. But yeah, no, that's the kind of stuff that's great. That's another like truly open world design where you can just find a great fucking gun in the middle of nowhere. So you might not find bullets for it, but hey,
you got a gun. Like as I said, like I haven't played New Vegas in a long time. I said, like, I don't think I've burned myself out on it because I haven't like played all the DLC and stuff. But like, oh man,
I'm sure
like,
you played a lot when it came out.
Yeah,
I think Burns finally showed up to listen to us ramble.
How long have we been going?
Only 30 minutes.
What's the mission clock say?
35 something. Not super long. We got a long time to go.
Nice. Oh, since Burns showed up, shout out to our mod team for being fucking amazing.
Yeah. We will also bring that up in Let's Talk FGO, but yeah, we did add a couple mods. It was Burn Costello and Jubiforce, who are really long-time members of the community. Yeah. And they do a great job, both in actually doing stuff to like help people and talk to conversations and stuff. They're exactly what we wanted.
Like, real talk, I'm not gonna lie, when I was thinking of mods, I'm all like, I want Jube and Burn.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have some other community members who jumped to mind, but they were the ones who actually volunteered.
I know, so I'm all like, oh god, they're meeting all my expectations. So I'm gonna tell this story because this is like one of my favorite stories to tell about Jube. So Jube is kind of a quiet guy. He's like really knowledgeable. He's really knowledgeable, and you know he likes to help people out. But one time, it only happened one time. He did something. I was like, "Oh, thanks, Jube," and he said, "Oh, I didn't do it for you or anything." I'm all like, and he's getting the tsundere role. And now, anytime he helps someone out, I just do that thing where I just like look at him, and he says the line, and he does it like every freaking time. It makes me so happy when he does it. It's like just one of those little niggly things.
Memes.
It's like he's like, "Oh, you gave Ron the tsundere role, but I think Jube
does it more, but also I immediately thought when he actually joined the thing, no, that's the thing Ron needs, because that is also a thing Mr. Yelly Pants. By the way, we should speak about that. So we finally started our fucking campaign, but then
oh my god,
Discord boned us and Ron couldn't hear me speak, so we had to like cut it short at like 50 minutes because it was really fucking hard to run because Ron literally couldn't hear me, so I either had to let him interrupt me by yelling questions that I couldn't answer, or I needed to let other people basically repeat what I said. So it was just really frustrating. It threw me off my game a lot, I think. I had a hard time
everyone off the game
keeping up with stuff I meant to do. So hopefully that's going to be fixed. I mean, like, we had a little bit of problems with our connection, but we're a little bit better now. We're mostly understandable to each other. Yeah. So hopefully we can fix that later this week. Because that'll be great, because I'm really excited to do that thing. But we'll see if I feel like game mastering this weekend, too, because I thought I would be over my illness several times through several days, but I'm still not, so...
Heck.
It's sticking... It's not bad, but it's sticking with me a while, which is real drain on the old energy.
And, so, speaking about our current campaign, I totally forgot that usually, like, if Ron is not involved, I always had to be the talker and the planner of the group. Yeah, because
you and Ron are the talkiest guys. Yeah. I can pull stuff out of other people in the game, but without my direct prompting, yeah, we have a couple of people in our history who are not always active.
Yeah, so it's like I always had like, because for once I wanted to play this character as someone who's like more timid in the background, background role, but I totally forgot. Wait, aside from Ron, the other guys kind of need to give them a helping hand. So I'm not like, shit, do I break character? Do I change character? How do I do this? It's a little weird. Like, that's the thing. Like,
though also you
a lot of people like, and this is a problem.
This is a problem, at least about your character, because you went off on your own, which made sense. But at the same time, that immediately prompted me, like, okay, well, guess what? You're the first one in the important scene that actually matters. So you have to do stuff for a little bit now.
I don't want to feel like I'm trying to be a spotlight hog, but usually when I'm playing a character, I like have a mental checklist of all the things that I should be able to do and want to do, and I just usually pick from which one that I think fits the best. Because I try to get into the character's mind. Like, Joan, she woke up. well, guess what? She like doesn't really. She really hasn't made any friends. She hasn't really, you know, talked to me. So guess what? She's not gonna chill with these couple people. She's gonna load up with fucking coffee, go to the hangar, and start talking to the machines that she cares about. To make sure everything's hunky dory. Yeah, she's ready to get to work. And like, then I realized, like, as I'm doing this, like, wait, I didn't build this character in mind with like coordinating with other players, which I think is a flaw that we, as a gaming group, we have. Is we all get these cool ideas that we want to do as characters, but we never make them mesh. We have a bunch of people standing alone and no one working together. It's like, I don't put that on. That's a common
problem with groups. Yeah, like I said, I tried to get people together to network better, but it was hard. We just couldn't find the time to iron stuff out. So,
but like, if you guys have a gaming group, like, make sure you coordinate with like your GM and your players, so you have some sort of cohesion at the gate, because otherwise it's going to be a bumpy start. It really is.
Yeah, I've heard some like podcasts and communities refer to this idea as like the group template. You don't have to take it as like literal as like a group template, but just make sure everybody understands what the core conceits of the campaign are, what their characters should be like, and kind of stuff like that. I set that up a little bit by coming up with an elevator pitch to like, okay, here's what I'm actually doing with this campaign in this setting. So you guys will you will have to meet these expectations, otherwise the campaign doesn't make any sense, and well, then I need to start over. So why are we doing it then?
See, it kind of worked out in Mages of War, because it's like everyone's in the damn squad.
Yes, you're in the team. So, like, none of you made the same specialty, so it makes sense. Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just not quite meshing out this one. Like I said, also partly connection issues, I think.
Well, yeah, that. I think, well, also, yeah, Mart's character, I think, is going to have a problem with a slight amount of that for a little bit, at least in the intro, because he is the lone pilot on the team. That means he has to hang out with NPCs or nobody as the pilot. It's good that he and Arn bonded a little. But,
yeah,
if we can actually get Ron to talk, you and Arn are going to be in the same room a lot, so we'll see how that works out between your two character types.
Like, I'm gonna try, but as I said, when shit hits the fan, Lucky is not afraid to take action, and sometimes I tend to take action before remembering what my character actually does. It's like, no, I should not be picking up the biggest gun and shooting everything. I should be hiding, because that's what my character would do. No, I like big gun.
Well, also, at least you also design your character to have the strength of being independent. So you have written in your own catch there. If your character acts in a fashion to like take command of a situation and start off doing stuff on her own, that makes sense at least. Like you can overcome your timidness to actually do a thing if it matters, if you feel like it.
Yeah, I basically built her character like if the chips are down, she will go fucking full hero. Like,
which is good. That's how giant robot fiction works.
Yeah, that's, as I said, I built my character as literally a main protagonist, which I'm kind of thinking maybe I shouldn't have, but I don't want to change her now because she's short and adorable, and I love her.
Yeah. Well, also we will have to see how other people shake out in this ensemble cast. Some people, well, they always say that like the player characters should be the main characters of your story. Some people don't necessarily play that way.
You see, here's the thing. I am not one who's against having to interact with a whole bunch of NPCs or even having NPCs be the stars. The usual part that comes from having NPCs think the stars is it's always on the GM. Right. And that just adds a ridiculous amount of workload to the GM.
Well, yeah, also, like, every, especially Genesis does this, but a lot of games are like, hey, as the game master, you already have, like, super control of this world. You don't need to play this out as, like, oh, what's going to happen with the stuff I made up, because you control everything. Like, the whole point is that the players are here to be entertained on some level. Right, so obviously you should make it... If
Omega just, like, went on for, like, a half hour, like, just explaining what NPCs are doing and how, like, that's affecting our story, I'd be okay with that.
I mean, I have a lot of NPCs, but I would probably find that tedious after a while.
Yeah.
That said, I do always... we talked about this last time we talked about games, and we talked about, like... This kind of rolls back to our open world comment, but talking about, like, living worlds and living reactivity, like, shit should be alive in the world. Like, even if the players are the star of a story, hey, guess what? The world does not revolve around them. Shit happens without their input, so that's important to have characters have story, which I tried to add a little bit of, but it was very hard to do background details when one person couldn't hear me and didn't know whether or not it was about them.
Yeah. As I said, we're going to try and wrangle around... Yeah, we're gonna try and wrangle everyone again.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I don't know if we'll do it this week because I don't know if I'll feel like doing that. Because
I really do want to do, like, as soon as I can find get some good some players. Like I think I'd be willing to do it with just 2 players. I want to do my Torchlight campaign in Nemesis.
Did Ron ever finish his character?
So the pitch for, huh? Yeah, I still got your character.
No, I said did Ron ever finish his character? Because he said he wanted to play. So
yeah, I know. I bugged him several times, and he's just like, and
yet he bugged us to run MHR or whatever those numbers he made up were.
Yeah.
Which is a setting he stole from me.
But basically, so... oh my god. So, how Torchlight is, basically takes place in Colorado, like in one big mining town. It's basically a combination of Silent Hill and The Mist, and then I'm sprinkling a whole bunch of Lovecraft over everything.
Yep.
And so basically the premise is a mysterious fog has settled over this mining town that survived the collapse of the mining industry and was able to brand itself as a tourist town. You know, ski mountains, trails, all that great stuff, is making an income that way. But a mysterious fog has recently settled over it, and while people can go in, no one's coming out, and there's been no communications. So the United States have put together a joint task force of military and civilian agencies to go investigate this fog and find out what the fuck is going on. And the player characters are part of the initial task force to investigate. It's a really easy you don't have to think too hard about your character. You just go in. Once you get in, shit will get real. It's be amazing. What do I want to call it? I guess I want to call it episode 0. Ready and done. I just Omega has a character. I just at this point I was gonna try for 3, but I'm like, no. I'm like, if I get 2, I'll run a fucking NPC, and we'll call it good.
I've always 3-man squad. Is to run an extra person, and technically, I actually, it's funny enough, I thought about this, and I might do it in advance now that I have more time. But I thought about for Sky of Hope giving Monica a player character sheet, as a fully fleshed out NPC, which I don't have to do, but can. Just so if I have very minimal stats for NPCs right now, just because I didn't have time, and obviously I haven't had time yet to fix that. Mm-hmm. But I've definitely thought about doing it. There I am. Okay, I was looking for my character sheet, but yeah. So I could totally do that and be able to take some of the burden off, because that's another important thing. If player characters are supposed to be the spotlight, that can be rough sometimes because you have to play the starring role basically. So
and here's the
sometimes to take a little heat off. Not bad.
Yeah, sometimes player characters just don't know what to do.
That's why it's important to have authority figures to yell at them.
Yeah. I won't be a person. I won't be a person that's sometimes I see a salute, I'm in a puzzle or I'm in a situation. I'm I don't know what to do. I honestly don't. Then I just well, this is over the internet, so I don't. This doesn't actually happen. But I look at I look at Omega with a giant question mark over my head. I'm just and then he usually throws a bone. Yeah.
So I did find my character. I'm First Lieutenant Felicia Santiago.
Oh, you're gonna be Santiago.
Yeah, it's the one I built. Nemesis character, I remember this vaguely, was a sniper, did a tour of duty as a sniper scout in Afghanistan. I love my snarky writing sometimes. Noted for having positive shooting people from a long way off skills, not necessarily hearts and mind skills.
Your writing is snarky. I forget about that sometimes.
I think it's just because I'm so used to you. More PT, hunting, reading airport paperbacks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I made a pseudo leader / shooty people character because I said that I was a poli-sci major, so I've got decent command dice, got a thing in psychology, a couple in leadership, but my best skills is I got a lot of coordination and firearm rifles. Gee, who knew?
Yeah, and I would totally be okay as a GM playing an NPC under a command who just listened to her, or maybe it's Lieutenant, I have a suggestion, just in case.
Does it involve not getting shot?
Yes. Yeah, if I can just get one more player, we're running the Nemesis game.
All right, well, we should... Because Ron can understand you.
Yeah.
You should bug him to see. Or maybe somebody from the community will come forward. That's something I've always wanted to do. because lots of podcasts do that. They do that as like a Patreon reward. It's like, hey, join our, so you can control the slots, but basically like, hey, once a month you can play games with us. So we might pull from the community, not necessarily as like a paid thing.
Yeah,
as like a reward for like special one shots, definitely. But if we can like just find people in the community to hang out with, much like we have mods in the community, that's a thing.
Yeah. Oh
So
my God,
speaking
I'm
of stuff
so
on the channel, though, I
excited.
did want to mention some stuff real quick. I'm still we talked about Dead Space earlier. I'm still trucking along in Game Dev Tycoon. Hopefully those are entertaining. I got a couple episodes in the sack, and today I just released number 8, Dojo Ono. Which
I laughed.
Yeah, you should watch if you want to know why. But guess what? It involves Omega trying out a new topic of game and genre and not knowing what the fuck he's doing. And guess what? It doesn't work. Hopefully I fixed that in some of my later episodes, because I went out of my way to make some interesting new topics in multi-genre games, because it quickly turned into a running joke that the only thing I can make are RPGs and simulation games. Which is not uncommon for a studio, I guess. It's just the game doesn't reward you for that. But I was thinking about it, and I think I decided what I'm going to do after Game Dev Tycoon. Like, I'd love to install some mods and do another run, but I'd space that out. So I reinstalled Chroma Squad.
Chroma Squad?
Yes, which is a little indie game RPG strategy type thing. But it's a send-up of basically the Super Sentai type genre, or Power Rangers, if you're not super weeby. It's kind of meta. It's like you're producing a Super Sentai type series, but at the same time, like, your fourth wall gets shaken a little, so there's some other stuff going on. I played a little bit of it before and really liked it, but I just didn't have time to do it at like a couple years ago. Like, Steam tracked, and it's like, you played 3 hours of this. I'm like, ooh, that's an amount of time. But it's like smaller and sprite based, so I'm pretty sure my computer will record it okay and everything. So I just realized, oh, that's because Steam gave me some trading cards for it for some reason, randomly. So I'm like, oh, right, that's a game I have. That could definitely work. That could be a thing we could play, and I could like talk about, and you could see me make interesting decisions, and we can have some fun with and see what happens. So that's what I think is going to be next, though I don't know how long it's going to be before I finish Game Dev Tycoon completely, because we are only like just now in the couple of episodes I recorded, like in the Xbox 360, PS3 era, like only just there. I think before episode 10, which is as far as I've filmed, ended, they announced the Wii U equivalent, but did not release it yet.
Oh.
So we're still a ways off from the uncertain future in that game, because that goes all the way up through modern consoles up into like made up future consoles.
Oh,
so there's like a generation past the modern generation. That's always how it's been, but now it actually has like you can get the Switch, and like PS4 era stuff. That'll be fun. I can design games for Switch. I can market some of my favorite titles, like Dankest Dungeon, or Deep Souls. Dankest Dungeoneers, actually, I think. Or what are some other dumb titles I've come up with? Chrome City is our cyberpunk genre. Rad Out is the post-apocalyptic genre. Lots of classic dumb names. Maybe someday we'll bring back Plunder the Booty, the pirate series that got us through a lot of those early years. When I make simulation games, I just put Omega on there. So like there's like Omega Airport, Omega Towers, Omega Transport, stuff like that.
And that's how Sim did it.
Sim Ant. Speaking of which, I played a lot of those games as a kid. I fucking love Sim Tower. I need to figure out if I can get that to run on a modern computer. That'd be another thing I could do a Let's Play in, because I played a lot of that game as a kid. Sim Tower, Sim Farm, a little bit of Sim City, but that never gripped me right away.
Yeah, Sim Tower. Sim Tower was easy enough to understand.
Yeah, it was. Well, you always had set goals. Like it told you what you always needed to get your next star rating in Sim Tower. So you were always like, okay, I understand this. You need more elevators. We need more this nor that. Then we can put that thing. By the way, even as a kid, I beat Sim Tower at least once, probably multiple times. Got it all the way to floors. Got the final whatever put in, the chapel or whatever is the top thing that you have to put at the very top of the tower. I did all that. So, like, I could definitely come back to that and I think do some interesting things with it. I tried to stream me playing some Tropico just for fun. It's not even, like, mission-based. But, hey, guess what? All that music is, like, copyrighted. So, we're not doing that anymore.
Oh, man. We're actually talking about trying to get some music maybe into our FGO videos. Because, I'm going to mention this when we actually end, but the summer event OST has gripped my soul, has turned me into Summer Lucky, my class as writer.
But, yeah.
And I kind of want to...
You want to put the bed music in. which is okay.
Oh, was that Omega?
I said you want to put bed music in, which is okay in concept. We've had some back and forth about is that going to work out or not. I think we're going to try it.
Yeah.
And just see, because as always, I will keep like a clean version of the audio in case it is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we can definitely put a version with audio up on Patreon because they don't. I mean, like they care about that sort of stuff, but they don't have like a content ID system, right? Like it's your content is a certain amount protected by the fact that it's behind Patreon barriers. So like, I don't think it's not like YouTube's content ID system, which is kind of annoying, but I totally understand why they had to do it. But at the same time, God. Music companies, why you got to be such assholes about it?
Yeah. As I said, Voice came up and says like he's never had a problem with it. I'm all like, good enough for me.
Yeah, that seemed like a fair point to try it at least. Though Byrne did come back and was like, usually when you're doing OSTs, you also have gameplay in front of it. Though I don't think that actually matters for Content ID because they'll just ID the audio. So, but if there is actual video footage over the audio, that does help if you try and make a fair use claim. But we will also be talking, so maybe. I have had mixed results. Video game companies are usually pretty good about calling fair use on their stuff, like whether it's for a music match or it's for a a video match. Music and anime companies though are real strict about that sort of stuff.
Poor lost episode. Also, well, when I was doing BioShock, they weren't as ass about it. It's like, you just can't, like, you can still put it up, you just can't monetize it.
Right.
Like, all right, fine, whatever.
And a couple of those I was able to get back, some I was not, so it's just, it happened a lot, so it was just too much of a pain in the ass to get, like, every episode cleared.
Yeah, just because they hear 15 seconds of an oldie-timey, wimey music, and it's all like, it's owned by this person.
It's owned by this company, thus you do not have, well, we could claim we have permission to do it, but I don't actually think we technically do. I mean, I've always tried to claim fair use. Some music companies are like, okay, yes, playing a snippet of audio while you are talking and playing a video game that counts as fair use. Others are like, now we want to keep it there. I'm like, okay, fine, assholes.
Yeah.
Be like that.
I'm
fairly certain in the next couple of decades your entire system is going to get dismantled just by the information age, but whatever.
For now, we will wait and hope. I'm wondering, is there like someone who literally has to sit there and like read like YouTube emails? It's like, all right, we got like they picked up this and this. Now we have to go check this and this.
Yeah. Well, also the one time that I did like a content claim on a BioShock that it didn't get refused, it sat the entire time it had to sit. Because YouTube is like, they will get back to you by X date. So it like took the whole like 2 or 3 weeks that YouTube gave, and then they just denied it. So I think they just let it sit until YouTube was like, hey, you guys have to respond to this, otherwise we're going to give it up. Because YouTube has tried to adjust their system to be kinder to creators. They're obviously under a huge burden because they don't want to get their asses sued by annoying companies like Viacom and stuff. But still, like, as people as their actual money source complains, because guess what, the companies that complain to them about record and copyright and stuff don't give them any money most of the time. So they don't. YouTube doesn't actually care about those people unless they're trying to take money from them. Welcome to the business world. So they have heard content creators and they try and adjust some stuff, but it's also like a complex thing.
Oh god, Voice showed up. What the fuck?
It's interesting. Voice is a magic support man. He can actually listen to us.
Yeah, he can.
But we're recording What's Up right now.
Oh.
All right, so...
maybe he just wants to hang out. Whatever.
He can hang out. He can listen. Technically, he should give us money for that, but I don't care. We like Voice. He's also helped us out a huge lot by having us on his channel, so that's fine. That's the equivalent of a lot of money. A couple of people have supported us on Patreon because he recommended us, so we can give him a pass.
Yeah. I remember like 300 subs, literally directly related to him putting us on the show. God damn it!
We're super close to the big 1K.
We are so close.
We'll talk about that because hey, we'll also say it on this show, but we'll talk about it more on Let's Talk FGO. But next week is going to be our 1-year anniversary of Let's Talk FGO. We will literally be recording the show probably on the 4th, which is the exact date that Let's Talk FGO #1 was posted to YouTube. That's not necessarily when it was recorded and made, but that's when it was posted. So
yeah,
we'll talk more about that on Let's Talk FGO. But we can mention it on the show because it'll go up sooner. So expect that. We'll have some.
Well, I think is the thing about a day is the anniversary where I basically said, "Hey, I'm gonna make this show with you," and you were like, "Okay."
Yeah. And then, well, because we'd already busted out the Let's Talk / Video Game Book Club concept, and then it was just, hey, we're both playing FGO, right? It just came out. Do you want to give it a couple weeks and then talk about it for like an hour? And then we talked about it for like 2.5 hours. And then it was
all
like,
right, let's.
Can we do this more? And then it was, fuck yeah, we could talk about this more. All right, let's do it like once a month maybe. And then it was like, no, that's not fast enough. Once every couple of weeks? No, that's not fast enough. Let's do it every week. And that's how Let's Talk FGO happened.
And as voice says, and then a legend was born. We're a very small legend.
We're working on it.
I keep thinking I need to make I'm gonna make my own list of video. It's gonna be Lucky's top 5 waifus. It's just gonna be me gushing about my favorite servants.
Do it.
It's gonna
do our breakout hit. Sometimes stuff picks up and sometimes it doesn't. But actually, thinking about it, while it's better, it's at almost 500 views right now. Compared to our newer stuff, there are not the view count on like number 1 is not super great. It's at only like 500, where we're regularly hitting over 1K with newer videos. Yeah. So hey, if you're listening to this and you haven't already, go ahead and roll back and check out Let's Talk FGO number 1.
Yeah, and then you can just remind us of how bad we were at some things and like make me screech.
You can listen to the very pointed difference between me speaking right now with my high quality microphone, my arm, and my pop filter, as opposed to the last year or so of shows. But hey, who cares?
Yeah, so I think I changed microphones like maybe a couple months in.
Yeah, you did it early. It took me a while before I changed it because some of it is just I had to figure out how to edit audio again and find the right settings and stuff. Like I definitely have to do noise cancel. I definitely have to do normalize because otherwise our audio is peaky as fuck.
Peaky.
Like, if I dumped this audio raw, there'd be a lot of people who'd complain because their fucking ears would explode and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So we're at about an hour. I think there are 2 key topics to us that we talk about regularly that I think we need to hit. So...
What?
Well, the first is anime.
Oh, okay.
We should at least mention it. There were several shows that we talked about last week that I was going to watch this week, but didn't. Because of reasons.
Fever dream reasons.
I am still current on Boku no Hero, Persona 5, and Hanebado because those were over the weekend, so it was fine. I wasn't sick yet.
I'm actually like I'm trying to decide if I want to try watching anime on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. Like I just sit down for like on one day in my weekend and just watch everything. This is what I'm trying right now. So I'm not caught up on everything. I've only watched like a few things. I'm like, we should record so I can let Omega not have to think about it. Mm-hmm. But there's something I was gonna mention.
I got a couple episode ones that are queued though. I said I have a couple episode ones of some shows that are queued. I'm ready to roll as soon as I feel better and I feel like sitting down and actually paying attention to anime with the reading and the sitting up and stuff.
Yeah, so I just finished watching episode 4 of How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, and like again, like we gave it like when I first saw, I can't remember what the promos are called, but
the key visuals,
keynotes,
key visuals, yeah.
Key visuals. I was all like, oh my god, what the hell are they going to do to this? And actually, they're doing a surprisingly good job with it. Like,
really?
The fan service is, it's interesting. The fan service is up, but this isn't like it's your isekai harem story, but they're not going full isekai tropes, which I think is a problem that a lot of isekai anime have. Which another anime in this core does have, and it's making me go like I'm watching it just so I'm like.
Sometimes you gotta watch stuff because it hurts you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel like this happens a lot with some types of American media too, but I feel like that happens a lot with anime genres. Is when you have a popular thing in Japan with anime types. I don't see this as much. Maybe it's because I just don't watch kids' cartoons as much anymore. But even in the past, I don't feel like kids stuff and cartoons were quite as formulaic. Maybe sitcoms are, but it could depend on the genre. But like when a subgenre or a topic of anime, to use how Game Dev Tycoon handles it, when a topic of anime, a specific type of setting and story type has its tropes, it fucking sticks to those, and they will stick to them until that subgenre or topic dies, and then it stays dead except for a couple outliers, and then you can get stuff like that. So like that also allows you to get like parody stuff like Konosuba, which is hilarious and great. Because it's just,
if you have not seen What a Wonderful what a Wonderful World We Live in.
Yeah. Which
Konosekai.
is commonly
something like that.
Abbreviated Konosuba.
Konosuba is not its full name, but if you type in Konosuba, you'll get it. You'll get the full name because for some odd reason, light novel titles are always fucking long.
Which is that's a genre thing. They're weird and dumb. Like I remember a famous one was read to me, which was like, I was reincarnated in another world as a hot spring? ?
Yeah,
They're
no,
all
I'm
like
actually
that.
reading the manga of that.
Is it?
But that's the thing.
That?
Like isekai, like I say isekai is its own genre just because of how much it is done.
It's definitely. It's a type of story that took off.
Yeah,
and it has a type that it follows, and you get dumb stuff like that. Is one of the anime this core, or was that last core the fucking smartphone isekai?
That was like 2 cores ago. Yeah, in another world with my smartphone.
That was that was apparently a big trope setter or trend setter in light novels. It just took a while to get adapted to anime. That's actually what Konosuba is parodying. But guess what? Konosuba is way better than that show, so it got an anime adaptation first.
Yeah, and Death March, which is also another stupid, like Death March and Parallel World Rhapsody, which that's the one that came out last core. Like super popular light novel, just got translated, but even the anime just makes me go, It's like, this is back to our first what's up with like information compression.
Yeah.
Like
well, also,
we
talked a lot about in Anime Power Hour about light novel to like manga to anime adaptations, like, because I'm pretty sure we talked about one of our standout hits from last season, Gun Gale Online. That was a light novel first, and then a manga, and then it finally became an anime. That was fucking standout. That was good. Mm-hmm. The pacing was a little bit different for the anime, but it worked out really well. Yeah. Some stuff just doesn't.
Yeah.
Voice is ranting about light novels, by the way, on our mod channel right now. He's right. It is about money, but that's what happens.
It is true. It is about. It is like there is a lot of them about harem. The problem I have with a lot of light novels is usually the premise starts out pretty good, but always evolves into a harem. And I wouldn't mind a harem if the harem wasn't done so shittily.
I mean, like, let's be real. The harem genre has been around a long fucking time. I actually read the manga for Love Hina.
I did too. Good old Ken Nakamatsu.
Yeah. And also, funnily enough, that's how he started Mahou Sensei Negima, because his publisher wanted more. But then he was like, "Fuck you! I'm doing a shonen action series," and I'm like, "Yes, yes," because Negima was so good. I don't know what his like follow-up series was. I haven't checked it out because it's been fucking forever.
It's a UQ holder. It's the sequel.
Yeah, I fucking loved that. But I read as an extension of that, I read Love Hina, so I'm like, I'm familiar with the concept of this genre, but. Yeah.
It's like
that's old. That's a long time ago. That was a thing that was out and done when I first read it as a teen. So, hey, guess what? A lot of the concepts of the genre have been firmly established. When I was a teenager, people were still complaining on the internet about Moe Blob harem shit anime. That's still a thing that happens sometimes.
Oh my god, I remember so much of that.
They complained about it so much and happened a lot, but that's kind of how...
Guess what? It's still happening.
It's still happening, but that's kind of how... I think it's Sturgeon's Law? 90% of everything is crap? That's true. That's just true. People like to upsell it, but yeah, no. Music?
It's true.
Most of that's shit. You can think previous decades had really good music. No, you just... When they play the top hits of the 80s and 90s, they're playing the top hits. They don't play the shit that nobody remembers. Remember when you had to buy albums, even on CD, and there were 6 songs you'd never heard of on that disc, but you had to buy them anyway? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 90% of everything sucks. So when something gets popular, when something gets successful, people latch on, either because it inspires them, which is the thing, that's perfectly acceptable. I feel like that all the time. I watch an anime or I see a series that's in a type of genre, and then I'm like, fuck yeah. I feel inspired by this. I see you do this type of setting with these kind of conceits, and I'm like, fuck, I want to do something like that. Maybe that's just because I'm a writer by nature, but
Going back to the music albums, I will say though, sometimes it does work the opposite way. Like you hear one song, you pick up a CD, and then you hear all the other songs. Like, oh, this is fucking amazing! I love all of this.
Wait, I think composing an album is an art that might be lost a little these days because you can just release singles and stuff and have them be wildly successful. But yeah, no, that was definitely a thing, and some albums were really good. But in general, when you were in the CD store, you would look at the track list and you would be like, I've heard this one song, like on a commercial or in a movie or on the radio. I'm interested in that song. And then it was very hit or miss whether or not the other songs on that album were actually interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so that's just there's a certain amount of like following mentality when it comes to media.
Well, they say like what is the saying? Imitation's the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah. That's just how humans are. Yeah,
if something's popular, people like, as you said, will either get inspired on that or want to cash in on that. It's like
business.
It's in any media.
I'm trying to think. Yeah. What was the quintessential isekai type story? Like, everybody points to sword art, but it really isn't because first of all, sword art ditches the actual isekai part after the first arc because they go back to the real world. Sword art, I think personified the MMO type isekai story.
Yeah, because at that time,
treating MMOs as a real life type thing. Because that's happened in a few
like getting transported, Escaflowne, I would say. I think like Inuyasha,
you're talking about my childhood right there. Yeah, those are good stories. Inuyasha took a long time to do, but that's because it was written weekly manga style, and we've had our thoughts about that. But yeah, no, fuck, those are some serious stories that are like, let's go into another world, another time.
I believe, too. Which I think is like a different, like go read like light novels written by men and then go read light novels written by women. Like holy shit, there is a stark difference.
Also true. Voice has a good point. They were about women.
Yeah,
which is true.
Well, I believe
let's be real. Let's be honest.
Shoujo.
Even if Kagome was a main character, you were not necessarily there just for her journey, right? You were there for the other people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of her difficulties adjusting to life was an important deal, but it was like and obviously her relationship with Inuyasha was core, but if you want to talk about standout characters that you really liked, it was the rest of their entourage, right?
But here's the thing. It was about the journey.
Yes,
that's something that is missing in a lot of isekai, because a lot of isekai today is not, I'm here, I have a bunch of fucking power, I'm
super broken right away, what do I do with this? And unfortunately, that's a lost art. Maybe it's just because, I don't know, let's think. Are there a lot of quintessential broken characters in... Like, characters get super powerful, but usually there's a little bit of an arc to it with a lot of manga and light novel stories in, like, Japan. But I feel like in the West, we've been used to the concept of OP characters for a long time because of Cape Comics. Like, that's been a fucking genre thing for a long time. Superman and his 5 million powers. Like, those stories aren't necessarily always good, but you can write a good Superman story. And I think as a culture, we're a lot used to the concept of, like, writing good stories which pick on characters who are supposedly invincible. We're used to that idea as a culture. I don't know if Japan has as much, like, baggage in that area to draw on, because they write a lot of shitty characters about OP stuff.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna bring this back to how not to summon a demon lord. Because now they're doing this mashup of, transporting people into game worlds, which got big with like Overlord and SAO and Log Horizon. Those were like the big three that sparked off this whole big anime adaptation craze. And of course he starts out OP, but they add a bit of comedy to it, like genuine good comedy, because the guy who's Diablo, who's the main character, is a complete nerd who doesn't know how to talk to people, so he just role plays a demon lord the entire freaking time. While the entire time he's panicking on the inside because he doesn't know what to do. And I think that's good. That's good that they're keeping the humanity in it and still giving him some sort of purpose as he's trying to figure out what he's going to do. And he's not just going on some happy-go-lucky journey like in Another World with a Smartphone, Death March, and Parallel Rhapsody. Even Konosuba actually has a good, like, makes progress in a story.
Yes. But also Konosuba is a lot funnier because everybody's terrible people.
Yeah, everyone's terrible people, but even so, they still defeated multiple demon generals, saved the town several times, made relationships. They were actually accomplishing things that matter to the world. in their own comedic, bumbling way.
Right.
They're still going on an adventure, having a journey, accomplishing something. That is one of the things about Konosuba that's maybe underneath all the comedy and gags is still something that supports it.
It has pacing that actually matters and impactful character arcs.
Yeah.
God, good writing is good, guys.
Yeah. Like,
I will say this, though. Sometimes we may have come across a little harsh as some of the genre, I'm watching two or three isekai. Like, I love isekai. I'm not ashamed. I love isekai. I love harem. I'm writing my own isekai light novel. I mean, but we also, hey, guess what? You can enjoy trashy pulp stuff, and that's okay as a type. But at the same time, we can also still be critical and be like, God, this isn't really well made. We still like things.
And in order to understand the good stuff, you have to understand the bad stuff. And the only way you'll understand
why something is bad and wrong.
Yeah.
To be critical, you have to actually understand what's wrong here. That's proper critical thinking, is the ability to actually go, this is broken and here's why.
You see, like, personally, I like Sword Art Online. I do. I also understand what's wrong with it and why it doesn't entirely work.
Hey, I mean, if we're gonna be real, I've said before, I really fucking loved the first arc of Sword Art.
Yeah,
because to me that was like super metal. Like, oh my god, like what was it, like 1,000 or 2,000 people died before they even cleared the first floor, and that's just like the intro. I'm like, fuck, this is really serious. And then, at least in the anime, God, they lose a lot of that energy.
Yeah, they do. As I said, again, information compression. Go back to the first What's Up to hear about it. Mm-hmm. But so it's like, like seeing the guy get all the girls and having awesome powers, I fucking love that. You know, it's Voice actually says it. It's hard to beat a power fantasy. It really is.
And if you do it well, you feel like you're empowering the reader. Like, that's totally a cool thing to like, talk about one of my favorite genres, like cyberpunk type stuff is all about that. Like, oh, you can change yourself. You can be slick and cool all the time. Just, all that stuff. But you also need reasonable stuff. And the beautiful thing about cyberpunk is there's a lot of philosophical and political and questions about a lot of this stuff. That's like you want to always talk about what's great for me. Like, I love Ghost in the Shell, especially Standalone Complex.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you have not seen Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, and Psycho-Pass, you should go watch them. Mm-hmm. Like, those are pretty.
I don't know why Psycho-Pass, I feel like, attracted a lot of heat.
I don't know why.
I think it's because I believe it's because of Akane, but I don't necessarily get that. Like, she's a viewpoint character, like, and she's also, I mean, I don't think they ever expound on it, but there's also something kind of going on with her, which might be important to the ultimate moral of the story. But like the universe and the setting, well, also that the season 2 was not as good as the first season. I will admit that.
Just watch season 1.
Yeah, season 1 is a complete story.
Like season 2,
and they decided to do more of it, which they shouldn't have.
No, they shouldn't have.
Like, it was interesting seeing some of the characters in new situations, but
Butcher. So that was some top quality shit.
Well, let's be real. The problem with season 2 is that the villain's just not as good. They had a great fucking antagonist in the first season, and you can't beat that. When you have a good antagonist, that can sell any type of story. The second one just wasn't as interesting. There was too much shit going on. They turned it into more of a meta thing. They like tried to answer questions about their universe rather than focus on like character stuff and how that tells a story. But no, the first season caught some flack too.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Standalone Complex is something that makes you question like what is to be a human. Psycho-Pass is something that makes you question what is good for society. Yeah, like that's what
it means to be criminal. I think is a big question. Like what it means to actually do that, because whoa, that's like, honestly, I think it was made for Japan, and it says a lot of things about Japan's society, even in subtle ways. But that's just something you should think about in life. Like, think about the crime coefficient, the deciding that people are latent criminals, the fucking thought police shit going on. Like,
1984 up in here.
Yeah, no, that's very important, I think, to our society in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Without getting into, this is not even a specific political message, just that's a thing you need to think about with life. Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, because like, that's the thing, like, both of those animes are like, writing is good, animation good, characters are amazing, the story arcs fucking fantastic. They're like both top tier.
The soundtracks
and
are also
it's like
both brilliant. But yeah, no. Also, oddly enough, both of those animes have great dubs.
Yeah, surprisingly. Like 9 times out of 10, if someone's asking me if I'm gonna watch something subbed or done, I'm always gonna say sub.
True.
Like there are like very few that I'm okay with dubbed. Standalone Complex, Psycho Pass, Fooly Cooly, Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, Full Metal Alchemist. I can watch those.
I mean, like if we want to go back to it, Sturgeon's Law, 90% of everything craps.
Yeah.
A lot of dubs are poorly made, whether or not they're like cruddy adaptations that were boulderized or massacred, as they like to say. Those are trope names. You can yell at me, but like they come from like the anime culture. Like, yeah, no, if you like completely rewrite the script to make them quote unquote kid friendly or whatever, because oddly enough, most anime in Japan is aimed at kids, but what they think is appropriate for children is completely different over there. Mm-hmm. So they change stuff around for us, but like, yeah, no, it's bad. Like some of the dubbing doesn't always work. The script changes are weird. If you just butcher the script, it's bad. So a lot of those are rough. I think a lot of like some older dubs are just hamstrung by like technology. So yeah, a lot of those are bad. Let's be honest. We're not native Japanese speakers, so maybe the original Japanese dialogue in lots of these is bad, but we can't tell. Mm-hmm. I have picked up in a lot of shows that some of them are very like melodramatic, but that's just the style, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we have lots of thoughts about anime. That's why we tried to have an anime show, but it didn't work out. So now this is our anime show.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back to light novels and harems and isekai, and I'm gonna recommend, if you guys like don't mind reading light novels, I want you to go read Mushoku Tensei. Basically translate to jobless reincarnation. It will be all out if I go to another world. This is literally one of the best isekai light novels I have ever read. It's still the character isn't completely OP, but he's still strong. He still gets a harem, but it isn't literally like he just meets the girls and they fall in love with them. No, he has to build time and make a relationship with each girl. He has to spend time with them, and he doesn't just like, meet them all at once. It actually has character development and arcs and whatnot. And that's what I think, like, I'm surprised this hasn't gotten an anime adaptation. It is so damn good. It's like, I love that.
Because sometimes, like, just because shit's good doesn't mean it accumulates to the top.
Yeah. It's like, oh my god, like, I actually, like, when I finish it, I actually, like, I was reading it online, I had to stop, I, like, cried a little because this journey was over. Because it's one of those, it's a reincarnation story that goes from, like, the time he's born, he's reincarnate, till he's, like 30-something, and he goes on this entire adventure that goes, like, just spans his entire lifetime. Meeting people, falling in love, like, tragedy, happiness, everything. He's learning things. It's like, oh my god, I cannot gush enough about it. Mushoku Tensei. Just go read it and, like, enjoy it. It's like, how many chapters was it? Well, it's fucking 24 volumes, I'll tell you that much. So that's it's long. It's done.
Well, that's always good. It's always that's always a weird thing about some shows and light novels and whatever, or mangas.
Yeah, they just do not end.
Like, is stuff done? Fuck if I know.
No, like, you get the sense that there is a planned ending to this when you read it, which I think is important. Stories need to have an ending.
Yes. So speaking of reading, this is the other big topic after anime I wanted to hit real quick. Yeah. So I was actually planning on getting into some reading this week, but again, didn't, because screen eyeballs sitting up for long periods of time gets a little harsh sometimes. And just, let's be real, like, some stories I can read no matter what, but if you want to set it on like a serious reading binge, you need a little bit of energy to get started. So energy is not something I've been great at this week, but I can tell the audience some things that I was considering doing, because I got a couple of book series basically queued up that I want to get back into for some of them. So I have basically the Temeraire series, which I read the first couple of but never finished, which is Napoleonic Wars with Dragons.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? I read Dragon Riders of Pern a lot as a kid, so dragons are cool.
Good old Anne McCaffrey.
I also have, just because I wanted to revisit it, even though I've done most of them, Artemis Fowl, great series of my childhood.
Oh my god!
I own a physical copy of a couple of the books, but not all of them. So like, I need to get them an ebook to read over again. That's just something that's been sitting there in the background for a while. I remember the Artemis Fowl books. They had the cipher on the bottom. I remember when I was younger, I actually figured out the fucking and started translating the entire fucking. Figured out the fairy alphabet. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Another series that I read the first one of but never kept up because we're talking about complete series. Especially with like YA, but just any kind of like, a lot of this is with fantasy series and stuff. They take fucking forever to finish, and they take fucking forever to come out, and you're just not sure. I think this series is done, but I read the first one. But Skullduggery Pleasant, which is another, it's a young adult type series, but it's urban fantasy type stuff. I really like the first one, but I never got back into it, and obviously I haven't started any of these series. What I did actually manage to start over because
I never finished.
Which
but I want to go back. Do you remember Animorphs?
Fuck yeah, I remember Animorphs. There's a lot of fucking Animorphs though.
Yeah,
which was the problem, which is why I never finished Animorphs because there were so many.
When there was the fucking like book club or the Scholastic Book Fair thing, whatever, the monthly thing where I always begged my mom to get me the Animorph book, and I would get them all. I had like all of them up to the 40s, and then for some odd reason we just tapered off. I didn't get them anymore, so like I can't even remember where I was.
How would you? There's so many. There's so many.
Like, I want to finish that, just so I know. Like, I've heard, like, some spoilers and stuff.
Honestly, they're pretty short, though, so if you could actually get a hold of them, which you probably can. God. Like, you could probably burn through those pretty quick.
Yeah. Apparently, Byrne's saying that Applegate got in a lot of trouble because the ending was... Because the ending is heavy. Like, first from what I know about the spoilers, it got real.
I mean, Animorphs was always pretty real, guys. The... what was his name? The one kid turns into a hawk and he stays that fucking way.
Oh yeah, that was the first fucking book.
It's the first book. That's fucking serious. Like he breaks the rule and he's stuck that way.
Yeah, like literally, like honestly, like I'm not surprised that it ended heavily because like literally, like for those not in the know, Animorphs was I won't even say it was young adult. It was like a younger, even younger.
It wasn't young adult. It was not like an early reader, but it was a typical grade school book.
It was like a grade school book.
The books were about the same length as like a Goosebumps.
Yeah. Elementary school reading level.
Speaking of which, though,
about
Goosebumps
5 kids terrifying. Who like find an alien, get a cube that lets them morph into animals, and they use that to fight a war with an invading alien species. Sounds typical.
Who are gross
like Saturday morning cartoon stuff, but. They actually it's like, no, this is like some wartime shit. People get hurt, people die, people go missing. Like you have to make questionable
the aliens
decisions.
Fucking invade your home and stuff. Yeah, no, it's a real heavy series. I remember I read a lot of them as a kid.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't really click as a kid because you're just all like yeah, no, yeah, but no, like Byrne is saying, it was a legit war happening. These kids are fighting a guerrilla war against something. And when things like as the story goes on, the scale slowly starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm not gonna ruin it because, as I said, it's good. Like I think I could still be invested in it now as a fucking adult.
Yeah, probably. Let's be like a lot of people I think shit on some young adult, and we've even said that Animorphs didn't even start out that way, but and there are probably a lot of we talked about light novels and anime and stuff have shovelware. Video games definitely have shovelware. Books have shovelware too.
Oh yeah, they do.
But there are still some gems in there that appeal to you. I've read a lot of the series, like we talked about. Artemis Fowl was great as a kid because that.
Oh man, do you know
because
what?
Artemis was so fucking smart compared to the adults some of the time. Which, hey, guess what? I was a smart kid. I felt smarter than adults some of the time. Definitely smarter than other children.
Man.
So, that's a real feel in your life, right? Like, that's a for reals feel. I also read, what was it called? Was it the Pendragon Chronicles or the Pendragon Cycle? Something like that.
I think it was the Chronicles.
I feel like it was Chronicles. I read those. Those were real good. That was another case of that always started a little more serious because it was aimed at young adult, but that was another one of those ramp up to... Not only this is not just a happy-go-lucky adventure thing, by the way, you're on Mr. Teenager. This is a real fucking story about the fate of the universe and stuff. Some of those got heavy. Harry Potter, I think, is a classic example where those turned from I mean, it starts pretty serious if you've ever actually, like, reread the first couple bits of Harry Potter. That's fucking brutal in a very human way. But at the same time, it starts off, oh, magical wizard whimsy, and then it's like, and then J.K. Rowling is like, oh yeah, and then we're going to start the last book and like 5 people die in the first 5 minutes and stuff like that, and you're like, shit, I like those people. Fuck, what are you doing to me, Rowling? But like, yeah, that's a great quality of a lot of stories, is that escalation, right? You start even-handed and then you get up and you get more serious, and that like Harry Potter at least was a very great series to grow up with, because you literally grew
every couple years.
Every couple years one came out, and Harry got a little bit older and it got a little more mature and the scene got a little more serious, and it was good for that. It was a series that grew up with you. Yeah, exactly. Those are hard to find.
Yeah.
But there's one series that I did start because I have them on audiobook again.
Oh God, are you going to talk about it?
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the Dresden Files. We've mentioned it before.
Oh God,
I'm doing it again.
Talks when? Oh my God,
he's working on it again. I think he's finally got his office. In case those people don't know, Jim Butcher writes the Dresden Files. He also wrote Codex Alera, and then does Aeronauts Windless have a series title? I guess it does. He wrote one of those, and supposedly he's going to write more, but. The short version of the story is
some people don't like it. I fucking love Codex Alera.
Codex Alera is great. It's very different in tone to Dresden, but honestly, you feel he says he loves sword and sorcery. You can feel his love for those things. Jim Butcher likes that type of story. You can feel it in that series, it's a great series. I like it.
But talk about Dresden Files, also a great story about escalation.
But so if people don't know, the short version of what's going on with Jim Butcher was he got married and then he decided to remodel his house or build a new house. That was supposed to take like 6 to 9 months, and it took him 3 years. So that's why he's not writing very fast, because he did not have necessarily a space to work and write in a lot of that time. So that's why his novels have been super delayed. I think he said that he intends to get Peace Talks finished not only this year, but in the next couple of months. I don't know if that's like him finished writing it or like finish the whole review process, but soon, fucking finally.
Soon.
But this was kicked off because he did release a new short story collection, Brief Cases, which included a brand new short story, much like the last one included Aftermath. This one included a new one, which was Zoo Day. Have you read it yet, Lucky?
No, I'm not.
You fucking need to. I won't explain why to our audience, because there might be spoilers in there, but Jim likes, in his short stories, likes to play around with the viewpoint characters. This has a couple of extra viewpoint characters besides Harry Dresden himself, and oh my god.
Is it funny?
It's funny, but also it's just amazing to get this point of view from these characters.
Okay.
And you know what characters I mean, because I told you, but yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the impetus for me to start listening to the series again, because I do that, because I have all the audiobooks. I could read them a lot faster, but that's like a thing. Also, the audiobooks are great. James Marsters does them. They finally had him re-record Ghost Story, so the whole collection is complete. But so I'll say this: I love the Dresden Files. It's a great series. I'm a sucker for cyberpunk. I think I'm a sucker for urban fantasy. I don't know why. I just am. But
hey, who doesn't want a little bit of magic in their modern world?
They're a great pulp type story. There are a lot of send up of like detective story tropes and like action-y type movie things. I think he said that Jim Butcher always has pictured the Dresden Files as a comic book type universe, which kind of shows.
Oh yeah, it definitely shows.
And there's actually been some original Dresden stories in comic book format, which are pretty good. But so like,
don't watch the TV series though. It's kind of
talking about compressing information, there were serious adaptation concerns, which just killed it, because the Dresden Files it's like, yeah, Murphy's 5 foot tall and she's a little blonde lady who can kick the fuck out of your ass with her Aikido skills.
Aikido and has marksmanship, and she has marksmanship trophies.
Yeah, she shot a werewolf once.
Actually, I was like,
that's the second book. That's not a spoiler. Yeah. Fuck you. And Harry is like NBA tall, which is a great joke, and like with the stuff, and he doesn't wear a hat in the actual series, despite the fact that hats are on every book cover. That's a joke. It's in the series now.
Yep.
But yeah, no, and like, Bob is a skull, not a guy, but I completely understand why they did it for the TV show, because just talking to a skull, especially in those days, would be fucking boring. But yeah, no, like, the Dresden Files has a lot of tropes and themes to it that you have to hit, otherwise it's not that feeling anymore.
Yeah.
And I will say this, they're very pulpy, like, also, hey, guess what? He's written 14 of them now, for literally decades and shitloads of short stories. Hey, guess what? Jim Butcher's grown as a writer, and his style's drifted a little, and the focus has drifted a little. So, I'll say this. Well, you're probably about to say a similar point, but when I start the Dresden Files over again, I don't start at 1. I still like Stormfront, but you can tell. I think he even said that he wrote that in college. Like that was his college project in his creative writing classes. Was like starting Stormfront and tuning it up. Mm-hmm. So like it's a very early work by him. It shows. It uses a lot of concepts in its storytelling which are not really used. Some of the characters' attitudes and facts are not necessarily straight. If you're going to start the series for realsies, you should try it. But if you don't like it, you can skip a couple books and still be okay. Same with Full Moon. And at least listen-wise, I can't do Grave Peril. I can't do it.
Oh my god. I can't. God damn it, Susan.
I could read Grave Peril if I could do it at my own pace, but just, you start that fucking story and it's like, hoopadoo, Harry Dresden, hanging out with his new friend Michael. Oh, he's got a good relationship with his girlfriend. It's just, it's a big tone shift. That's not a spoiler to say that, guess what? Harry Dresden suffers. And so, just for me, like, just listening to it, I can't do it. It's too drawn out. I know how Grave Peril ends. It fucking sucks for Harry Dresden. It hurts. Yeah, I said, I can probably read it.
The first time you can get through it once. Once you get through it once, you're probably not going to be able to get through it again.
And I'll say this. I was like that for a long time with Changes, which is another big, hurtful book. But the thing about Changes is, there's no flip. Changes starts with one of the best starting lines in the series, which is literally a spoiler, so we can't read it to you. But it starts at fucking 10, and then goes to 11, and then maybe goes up a couple more notches. So, like, when you actually sit down and try to do Changes again, I'm like, oh, I can actually listen to this because it starts super high pressure all the way through.
I don't know. I still think my favorite opening line was, the building was on fire, and it wasn't my fault.
Yep. That's, Death Masks. Or is it Death? No, not Death Mask. It's Blood Rights.
Yeah,
there's so many. It's hard. They get confusing sometimes. There's, like I said, there's, 15 of them. No, 14 right now, and Peace Talk's going to be 15. So it gets a little, they blur.
No, Skin Game was 15.
Oh, so Skin Game is 15. Okay, yeah. Yeah, because Ghost Story was 13, and then Cold Days. And then, see, I got the number confused just now. And those are the most recent ones.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So none of them are really forgettable, but at the same time, like I said, they blur together.
It is one big story.
So when I'm listening, though, I start at Summer Night. Part of that's just because I like Summer Night a lot. Like, it speaks to my themes. I think I've said before that my favorite Shakespeare play is Midsummer's Night Dream, funnily enough. So just a lot of those tropes and stuff resonate with me a lot. But it's a big tonal shift. It's where Butcher drops a lot of the pretenses and settles into what the style of the series is going to be going on. So, it's just a great way to start. So I'm doing that. And guess what? I can't actually listen to books while being sick. So I will probably be talking a little bit about that as time goes on. Through as we go through more what's ups, as I burn through some books, because I think I'm in this for the long haul. I'm set. I read some source stories. I'm like, fuck this. We're gonna do it. We're gonna start at Summer Night, which is 4, and we're gonna go through them all. And I'm gonna try not to die somewhere in the middle there.
I was actually thinking about it. Jim Butcher, he really likes his strong female characters in his series.
There are a lot of them, yeah.
I was just like, because I was actually thinking about, because when you mentioned briefcases, I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna fucking talk about this on What's Up. I fucking know it. So I was actually reading over some stuff, and I'm all like, god damn. I'm not gonna talk about Early Murphy, because Early Murphy kind of pisses me off. Jesus. Well,
also,
Christ,
and that's the thing. Down. Hey, guess what? Character development is also the characters have to go through some tough shifts in the first couple books too.
Yeah, they do.
Harry and Murph's relationship in the first couple books is really frustrating, especially once you know how they turn out. Mm-hmm. But it's frustrating because, God, they are just two people who are stubborn-ass people who don't want to talk and trust to each other, and you're just like, oh my God, guys, if you would just talk like humans, we could be through so much of this bullshit. You can't for 3 books. Character growth. Which is another reason why if you've read the first 3, you can fucking skip them if you're going back. You know that shit happens already.
Oh no, actually the 2 books that I go back to a lot now are Ghost Story and Skin Game.
Yeah,
Skin Game because
if you're gonna skip Advance, those are good ones. But like I said, I like the progression. Because Deadbeat's another great one to fucking start on, for reasons. That was the first one that was in hardcover, so Jim spiced it up a little. So Deadbeat is a great story. Proven Guilty is
I'm
another
sorry.
great one.
Sue is best character.
Yeah. Proven Guilty, I think, is another great one. But you have to kind of read the ones that lead up to that to get that dynamic.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, because as I said, this is a series, so each one is built upon the back of the last one.
Like, I think some people complain that he does I mean, we've said this before. You should treat every work like it's like your audience is picking it up for the first time. So yeah, okay. Harry reiterates who he is, what he does, usually with some additions. Every start of every book, he has to remember who characters are. But at the same time, like, you do never know when somebody's just going to pick up a fucking book on a shelf and start skimming. So, you have to build your tropes, and that's just part of the narration. And, like, people could jump in at any point.
Sorry.
People could jump in at any point. You never know. So you have to establish, and sometimes characters are gone for a while.
Yeah.
Because Jim doesn't like to forget anything. Girl. Like, sometimes, I think he even admitted that he drifts what his original intent was with stuff, but he doesn't like to forget stuff. So if something is mentioned, it's gonna fucking come back. It happened a lot. You think it's not gonna, it fucking comes back. He's almost as... he's as good or possibly better than Kubo Tite is about bringing shit back that you thought was nothing. It was a thing. Which is another big selling point in the series, which is why you really should try to read all of them, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, if you can't, don't. Skip a couple books, try some other books.
Honestly, get the audiobooks.
Just
get the audiobooks.
Yes, just listen. We always talk about how we make long content because people ask for long content to kill shit while they grind. Fucking audiobooks are great for that. That's how I lived my life for years, is audiobooks. So and just, hey, you can do stuff while you do audiobooks. Though that's not what I'm 100% doing while I'm sick. I think my capstone, because I think we've been going for over an hour and a half. We should probably wrap this up just for the sake of completion. But I think the last thing I wanted to mention was a lot of what I've been doing while sick is watching YouTube. As Lucky knows from watching the YouTube history, I've been crushing a lot of Game Grumps. Because let's be real, Game Grumps is, I think, a really great format where they're like 10-minute plus episodes. They're little snippets. Yeah, sometimes it's shitty week to week or day to day. But when their series are finished and you can just binge them all, they're great. It's a great, I don't want to do anything else right now. I just need some background noise stuff. So I... It's like, I would like... Well, you can go ahead, because I'm just gonna reiterate some of the series I've watched while I've been down and out lately. So if you've got like a more salient point, you can go ahead and give that.
Oh, no, it's just... like, I think it works for the 10 to 15 minutes is because they have two, like, very outgoing personalities, and so you get a lot of talking and conversation in those 10 to 15 minutes.
Also, they have two people, so they can kind of bounce back and forth, which is great.
Yeah. Like, when you just have one person, it's all like...
Sometimes you get dead air.
You can literally have, like... Yeah.
And I think that's how they avoid dead air, is they set them to, like, 10 minutes, and they have two people, so you can kind of bounce off each other. So...
Like, I'm pretty sure all you guys would fucking love us if it was me and Omega playing video games, just having literally this conversation as we play games.
Yeah, and also riffing off stuff happening on screen, like proper improv stuff.
Yeah.
But let's see. So I did their Mario 1, 2, 3 series and then World. That was pretty good to go through. That made me nostalgic for playing Super Mario games. I did Zelda 1, 2, and 3, and or Zelda 1, 2, and Link to the Past, which also made me nostalgic. I thought about going to Wind Waker HD because that's a long fucking series, but then I remembered that I don't always like that, especially early, because this is a thing that Aaron does sometimes. Because, hey, Let's Playing is hard. Let's be real. You have to, like, split your attention while you're actually doing a thing. Video games can be hard. But especially in Wind Waker, there were a lot of complaints which were like, this game sucks or this is bad. When really it's not. It's just that he's not able to focus 100% of his attention on the game and, like, learn the mechanics and pay attention to what he needs to do. So that's just kind of annoying because it's like, no, you're just being fucking dumb right now. You can just do the thing. So I won't lie, one of my favorite Game Grumps is to go back to the good old days of Aaron and John trying to watch the Sonic 06 playthrough. Yeah, interestingly enough, I got in at the start of the Danny era, so like, yeah, I don't necessarily like, not like John. I was there when there was the big kerfuffle about the switchover, but I came to love Danny. He's fucking amazing. It's because Danny's great. But yeah, no, like so. But I'm just not as used to John, so I have a harder time watching some of that older stuff. Because I didn't experience it in the right context, so it's weird. Also, some of their older stuff. John's can become kind of a taboo. Last I checked, so eh. Yeah, he's an internet guy who is outspoken at times. That's bad for some people. If we were more popular, some of the stuff we've said would probably get us into trouble at some point, even if it's just in or out of context. But that's just that's the nature of the beast sometimes. So instead of doing Wind Waker, I started their Mario Maker playthrough from 1, which is a journey. Oh boy, that's a great. You know why that's one of their most popular series of all times, because it's just Mario Maker's a great concept. Nintendo killed it with that idea, and then what people did with it, and how Game Grumps arranged some of those episodes. Like sometimes I think they let it drag too long on a stage they're not good at. Like, because it can get a little repetitive. Like, you guys aren't fucking learning anything. You're not actually getting better at this. It's hard, and you're not doing better. Sometimes the comedy covers for that, but no, just like, if you're not feeling great,
I will say sometimes those levels are just like a ridiculous line, because there is such a thing as a level that is too hard for you.
Yes, some of the levels are just made to be fuck you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like that's a great series that I'm like halfway through right now, and that's what I'm doing a lot of while I grind like FGO and stuff, or just lie in bed and feel bad, and like, God, I'm hot.
Huh. I want to get back into Game Grumps. I really do. Like I'm still subscribed to them. Them and Jacksepticeye. Those are my two. I think I sometimes watch Markiplier.
Same. I love Mark, but I don't always watch.
Game Grumps is the kind of show that I want to do. Like with Omega,
I would love to do that. I would love to do the 2-man show kind of thing. We could do that with all kinds of dumb shit, but we need to set up for it. But also, I think the thing about Game Grumps is it's often hard to tell if a series of Game Grumps is going to be good. Like sometimes you can watch a first episode and be like, they're actually playing like original Sonic the Hedgehog, given Aaron's past with Sonic games. You know this is going to be gold, and it was. It was great. He got to vent a lot of his thoughts about Sonic, which I kind of agree with some of those opinions. As a kid who has no nostalgia for Sonic games, I can kind of see where he's coming from for some of this shit. But other series, you're like, when they pull up rando games, you're like, I have no idea if this is going to be good, so I'm just going to watch the best of compilation later. And that's all you need. You only need the like 50-minute curated version. You need to watch the whole fucking series. But yeah, no, that's a great... Watching people do different styles of Let's Plays is amazing. Like, 10-minute episodes are a thing. We generally do 30-minute episodes or 1-hour episodes of stuff, which is another type of thing that some people do.
Yeah, that's what I do.
You do an hour, I tend to do like 30 minutes-ish.
Like, if people think like I'm recording too long or think I should try something different, let me know.
That's what I was about to say. Hey, if you have any thoughts about our Let's Play style, let us know.
Yeah.
We're pretty flexible. I could do shorter episodes, but I figured that for me, 30 minutes would be... I could definitely do 1 episode, probably 2 back-to-back, and get, a decent chunk of content for the viewer and for just, me to do stuff in general. Because sometimes 10 minutes is a little short, which you can see this in Game Grumps, where like sometimes they pull it the next time in Game Grumps and they're like in the middle of fucking something. Well, guess what? That's how that works sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to find a manageable upload schedule.
Yeah, since we're back on this topic, like when I get done with Dead Space 1, I kind of want to go straight into Dead Space 2, which is like the best Dead Space. But I don't know, because once I get into, like I mentioned this before, once I get into my next Let's Play, I'm gonna bring back Editor Lucky. We're gonna have some choice cuts. We're gonna have some sweet text.
That's also another reason, by the way, where I'm kind of hoping to ramp up other Let's Play stuff. And like I have a plan for what game I'm gonna do when I'm done with this one, because I want to be able to like make some padding content in case you need some time. Because sometimes I feel, I know you do a lot of Let's Plays sometimes because you feel bad that I do a lot of content for the channel. But sometimes I see you making a lot of them in the backlog. I'm like, fuck, I feel bad. Lucky has to record all these games and upload them. I need to space his content out too.
I don't know, trust me. Like eventually, once I get in the ground, I'm just gonna make so much content. He's gonna have to post me every day, and I'll be like, yes, good. Come to me, views.
Well, I mean, you do get a lot of views. I think Dead Space is more popular than game dev, but that might just be the nature of the beast. We'll see.
Well, as I said, the people getting to see me. Yeah, well, it's me like me killing a bunch of things and then screaming when I get startled by something, like a tentacle.
Mm-hmm. Whereas I think the humor in Game Dev Tycoon is you deal with me trying to create my perfect and beautiful art, and then just it doesn't work sometimes. Like people are always going on fucking vacation, or I'm trying to build an action RPG, and I don't actually know what this game thinks is good for action RPGs or other dumb stuff like that. Or when I'm like trying to make contract games and I'm basically making shovelware, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Hey, it's trying to see 90% of what you make is going to be shit.
That's actually very, very true of our game dev studio. Oh my god, we have I have a lot of stinkers. That
See, here's the thing, because like here's the weird thing, like not even like your game or whatever you create can be fucking gold, but if it does not match the whims of the public, it will still fall into trash.
And there's a lot of stuff I talk about, like they have those interviews where they ask you about what you want to focus on more, and guess what? You get bad hype if you say the wrong thing, because the way they phrase it is industry professionals disagree with you. So it's like, yeah, if you don't follow what people in the industry say about games, if you're trying to go your own way, you'll get fucking slammed for it, which is 100% true.
Yeah.
Also, this is gonna be a spoiler, I think, for later episodes, but look out for this. I try to recreate FGO as a casual RPG with a mythology theme for mobile phones. Guess what? That doesn't work out 100% for me, because I think it even says RPG is a bad match for phones, and I'm like, well, I guess Game Dev Tycoon says that mobile gacha RPGs are bad. Get fucked, Fire Emblem Heroes, Grand Blue Fantasy, FGO. It's just it's one of those funny things. Like there are a couple of game concepts that, especially in
I'd actually chalk that up to regional differences.
Yeah, it is probably.
Yeah,
because Game Dev Tycoon doesn't. Those develop. Well, I think they're Australian, but still, like they're making it from a Western point of view, so they would probably haven't even hardly heard of them, or if they have, they don't understand quite how popular they are. But yeah, no, it's funny.
Man,
but don't worry, guys. I'm going to save that franchise. I'm gonna spoil this now. I haven't shot this episode, but in future, I'm gonna port it to consoles as like the home edition, as like not a casual RPG, but a real RPG. That's gonna fucking sell because I can make those.
I always find it amazing when you meet someone out in the world who has like the same interests as you. Like, so, I guess we can make this our closing out story, unless this tangents out to something else wildly, which it might. You never know.
I'm not gonna let it. I have to go pee. I'm gonna end the show.
The bio break.
But go wrap it up.
Wait, you're gonna end it now?
No, not literally now. I'm telling you, go ahead and do start your wrap up story.
Okay, so this is my wrap up story. So I don't know how long ago this was when we started up the Discord. Actually, no, wait, I still have the email because it made me super fucking happy. Hang on one fucking second. I am a person who takes the joy in the little things. Okay, so back April 14th, this was like 4 months ago. We were having a discussion in our Discord about what we can post, what images we can post, and what we couldn't post. I'm not gonna get into the exact details.
No,
of what.
But if you know Discord and you know about their rules, you understand.
Yeah, but as I said, like me, I was curious about some weird gray zone, and I was like, I'm gonna contact them, just ask them, and Omega was all like, sure. Just get our channel shut down. He was being very pessimistic. I was like, whatever.
Well, also, like, that's a difference in our personalities. Me, never fucking send that email.
I sent it. And, let me see here. Let me see if I can open it up. Boop. Yeah, so I sent them an email and asked them. And the first thing they said is, this is like me talking to a Discord support person. It's like, hey, Lucky, thanks for writing in about this. First off, I appreciate your taste in gacha games. I'm more of a Grand Blue Fantasy player myself, but I adore the Fate series as a whole. I just wanted to get that out there because I think it's cool we have similar interests. And I thought that was the coolest fucking thing. That this person who's sitting probably in a cubicle typing in things all like, this person knows this thing I do. I want to say hi to that. That's cool. That's awesome. And we actually we had a bit of a conversation because I had to ask some clarifying questions and get the things. But we always added a little tag at the end of the line about the gacha games we're playing, like how we both play Grand Blue Fantasy, how I love Narmea. They said that I had great taste in Onesamas. I was like, oh my god, I love this.
Yep.
Having even little connections like that, I think are amazing and fabulous, and people should treasure them because it was only a conversation that lasted. Let's see here, not even a day. But I'm gonna remember this forever. I saved the email because it touches my heart. I don't even know where I was going with this. I just wanted to tell someone.
I think we're just talking about just sharing similar interests and stuff, and how people can come together, and that's the message of our story, our podcast, message of our story, whatever. We're wrapping up now. I'm running out of energy a little bit, and I have to.
I haven't slept yet, so
also that. So we're dying down here, but we'll be back in less than 3 days. Yeah, that's right. We respond faster than Jesus. So let's just go ahead and do the outro. I will say this. If you like this episode, give it a like. Also, don't forget to leave comments in the comment section. We talk about comments we like a lot, so go ahead and drop those down there. We like to respond to comments and stuff, too. If you're new here and if not already, please subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell for notifications, because we post stuff basically every day of the week, so yeah, no, you can see our content there. Also, don't forget to set notifications to always, not just occasional. That's apparently another thing. Talking about YouTube being weird. You can also join our famous Discord. That link is in the description. And also, you can consider supporting us on Patreon. It's a great way to keep track of our episodes as they come out. You can access stuff early, lots of other goodies, which I outlined at the front of the show. And that's about it. So we'll see you guys next time, whenever that is.
All right, Omega's going to go pee, and I'm going to try not to sleep more.
All right. Bye, guys.